I honestly couldn't plan this better to be a bigger fail in my entire life. It's so hysterical. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gandhi's Thoughts number 69, Giggity, brought to you by My Nutrition. This is attempt 3. I'm really good at getting everything situated. I streamed on Go Beyond Entertainment's Twitch. Then, on top of that, I had an echo. And then 3, this is the third one. So anything that can happen will happen. Murphy's Law is beautiful. So you would think by like episode 69 I'd have figured out how technology works, but I got nothing. I suck. Anyways, moving forward. I really don't. I'm going to talk about Dynasty first. And I've tried to do this intro like 4 times now. Well, I guess 2, but I've tried to do this intro 2 times now, and I'm so tired of it. So we're going to talk about Dynasty. So in case you guys have been living under a rock, here is exactly what has been happening in the competitive side of things. So legit, as everyone knows, has left Ambush. Legit, as everyone knows, has joined Ambush and he left Requiem. Okay? So what happened was that freed up Richie Heinz. Okay? And so Richie Heinz has been an elite player since really the beginning, right? He's been so talented. Ever since the dawn of Halo 4, everyone said, oh, wow, Richie Heinz is a top 5 player. Okay? And so when he got dropped, everyone's like, whoa, what happened? Like, there's got to be some external factors in there, and we'll touch on that later. But still, he's such a good player that when a good player like that is freed up from a team, there's a lot of people who are going to say, I want him here, we got to drop this guy for him, let's figure it out. Well, there actually wasn't a lot of chance for that to happen. Because what happened was within an instance, Richie Heinz basically already had a team formed. And that team's going to be Dynasty. So what Dynasty is, just for like a little bit of a background here, Dynasty wears purple jerseys. They've had great runs in the past. They won a Halo Reach event. It was actually Formal and Heinz on that team as well. And Tazok's been on that team. Destin's been on that team. There's a lot of people who have been on the squad of Dynasty. It's very, very... I don't think Dynasty ever has had a poor placing. And when I say poor placing, I mean like outside of the top 12. I don't think they ever have. So that's always really good to see. It's a very, very prestige name. It's nothing like a Final Boss or an Instinct, but it's kind of climbing those ranks as well. So it has a background story, which is good. And I know a lot of people hate the fact that you got to bring back old team names. I want Perfect Storm back. I don't know why it's not a team. It's the coolest name in the history of Halo. I don't know why it's not back. Bring back Perfect Storm. Someone. I don't care who it is. If you get first rounded, I don't care. Just bring it back so I'm happy moving forward. So who Dynasty is going to be? It is going to be Enable, Richie Heinz, APG, and Lethal. Okay? So one more time, that's going to be... So Richie Heinz is going to be teaming with Enable, Lethal, and APG. And when I first heard the team, I was kind of like... right? I was kind of because, you know, when I go from hearing, like, Ambush was like, Pistola, Snipe Down, Legit, Formal. Like, that's like, what the shit just happened, right? And you have, it kind of takes you away. You're like, holy shit, these guys are sick. And so when I heard this team, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Like, what can I expect to see from Dynasty? And so the first thing everyone's going to be saying here is, and I'm already seeing it in here, is APG. APG has kind of had the worst Halo 4 season, I think, of anyone who's still an elite player. APG has been dropped by... He got dropped for Pistola. He ended up joining teams for Rynoob, and then every single event after that, Rynoob would beat him. So he's gotten very, very unfortunate. He's a very, very good player. He's fallen out of the money a couple of times. And after every event, you always see his like ceremonial tweet of, I'm quitting. And it's just like, come on, APG, like, get your head out of your ass, man. Like, you're too good to quit. Just take the loss and be a man. But so he's kind of gotten this rap about killing teams. But the problem is it's not that APG is bad. It's not. It's just, when you look at a team dynamic, like, a really good noob is going to do a lot more for a team than an APG is. APG is going to run around, slay, and just charge at the enemy team. Rynoob's going to do the exact same thing, but he's going to do objective mastery work, man. He's a wordsmith of flag running. So he's a flagsmith, whatever the fuck. So he's a really good noob, solid. But so APG just can't ever live up to that hype of what a really good noob brings to a squadron. And I get it, but APG isn't bad. The problem with APG is his external game. Like that's his main problem, right? It's not in game that he has a problem with. It's outside, and I'm not here to talk about that shit. All you need to know is he needs to be in check. He needs to be kept in check. Okay, he's a young kid. Everyone does stupid shit, but he needs to be kept in check to a certain extent. And fortunately for him, he has Lethal on the team. Now I know this. I talked about it last night on First Strike, and it was so funny because no one could actually believe it. But Lethal is actually a positive influence for someone, and that someone happens to be APG. Now, I know a lot of people were like, they like tip their hat and they're like, yeah, def, right? But he really is. Lethal's kind of like a big brother in a way, in the way he like looks out for him. I remember Sunday night of AGL8, he came up to me and Lethal goes, hey, just keep an eye on APG. I don't know what he's going to get into, but he tends to do stupid shit. I said, okay, I got you. I'll make sure. And I was like, is this Lethal, the guy who talks in all caps and has no filter and just on the flip of a dime, he just snaps on someone on Twitter, and there's no predicting it, right? Like everyone's kind of like, oh my god, that came out of left field. But he always puts people in his place. So he thinks, right? And so he actually is a good influence on APG. I think if there's one person who can keep APG in check, it's Lethal, and that's it. But the thing that scares me is how are they going to do together? Lethal and APG haven't teamed in quite some time, but when they did team, they defeated the infamous. Well, it's actually kind of funny. Infamous defeated the infamous God Squad, aka Instinct. Instinct was 42-1, I think, after 2 events. In the next event, this team forms, which was infamous, and they ended up defeating them. And then after that, Lethal stole APG's girl, and they took second. So like they have a chemistry and they have a lot of history together. And together, you got two, like APG. Like I give him a hard time, right? But because I think like there's times where he's just super predictable. But Lethal and him are basically the similar players. They're both not going to miss, and they're both going to just push at you. And Lethal does not miss. Ace actually thinks he's a top 5 shot in the game. And I said, right, because I can name 5 people right off the break who I think have a better shot than Lethal. So, but as a top competitor, they see things a little bit different. And I get that. It could just be Ace has a hard time out shooting Lethal. I understand that. So, Lethal and APG, that duo will be awesome to see again. And then you have Richie Heinz, right? But before I talk on Richie Heinz is really my X factor for this team. And I'll explain to you in a second. Moving forward. Enable, okay? This is Enable's real. It's basically his first shot at teaming without Flamesword to see how he's going to do. He's always been with Flamesword for a very, very long time. I think Flamesword's tweet said 2010, but I want to say it's even longer than that. It may have been. I mean, I guess that spree of them teaming was from 2010, but I swear Enable played with him in 09 and. Maybe 08. I forget what that Status Quo squad was back then. So long ago. But, they've been together for so long, right? So you kind of get that comfort zone. And with Enable knows that Flamesword's always going to be able to bend over backwards for him to shine. Flamesword always took the blunt end of that relationship because Enable just had such raw skill, right? He has so much potential. Period. Like he has an amazing sniper, his shot's good, his decision making's good, but he also baits his teammates a little bit. So he's gonna have to learn to break that role. Yes, he does have Richie Heinz in place of that, but he's got to learn to make it. He's got to change that a little bit. But I think he'll be okay with that. I don't see him really having a hard time adjusting. at all. But it is going to be weird for him when he's down, right? Like they're down in a series and he looks over to his right and he goes, oh, Flamesword's not here. Because when you team with someone for so long, like I remember when I teamed with Karma for so long, you know, when I wasn't with Karma, I would look over and I'd see like Defy or Best Man, right? And they didn't give me that same kind of thing that Karma gave me. Like when I looked over at Karma, Ben would be like, "You got this, dog," and it's simple. But I know when he says that, like, I'm still fine. Okay, like you get that weird chemistry with someone. You get that unique bond between each other where you don't have to say, "Okay, yo, this is what you have to do. You gotta get your head on straight." It's just a couple simple words. Like for me with Ben, it was just, "You got this, dog." I was like, "Okay, awesome. That's I get it. I got it. Like I'm gonna do it, right?" But it's bromance. It's exactly what it is. It's ideal bromance, and so he's gonna have to get used to that. I mean, when he looks over and he sees Lethal, and Lethal's just like fucking zoned in, like messing with his hair, and then like APG's just hanging out. Like, oh man, I'm gonna quit after this, and then you have Snapback Richie throwing insults at people. It's gonna be a different change of scenery for him, but I think Enable will be fine. Also, I know no one in here gives two shits about COD, but Enable's also coaching Soar. And Soar is a professional Call of Duty team. He's going to be coaching them at whatever event's coming up, which is actually kind of cool. So maybe he can bring some of that hype into Halo or whatever. Doesn't matter. I know you guys don't want to hear it, so I'm not going to talk about it. Moving forward. The X Factor here. Richie Heinz. Okay? Richie Heinz has teamed with Ola in the past. They've been a duo for a while. When this team actually got formed for AGL Nashville, I remember I did my thoughts, and I was super excited to actually see them back together because that brings back 2008, 2009. It was they're really, really good together. I mean, you have Mr. D's Pistola's dad and Mr. Heinz. You know what's weird is I actually don't know Richie's last name. Is it Heinz? It may be Heinz. I honestly have no idea. But so anyways, you get used to seeing your teammates, right? And when you go from winning like four events in a row, and then you take fourth, and then you get dropped, you have to kind of wonder, like the first thing that would be going through my head if I was Richie would be, why did they drop me if we won 4 events in a row and then we just got fourth? Like, there's always those fluke tournaments. Like, what's out there? And then you got to do your soul searching. And I know Richie for a long time, and from AGL 7 to AGL 8, he's a completely different person. He had some external stuff come up, and I think it rattled him a good bit. I think it rattled him to the point where, he's got to kind of claw his way back into his own skin. And, when I say that, one of the most important things when you're competing, especially on stage in front of people and especially for money, right, you have to have confidence. And if you're not comfortable in your own skin, you're not going to do well. When you talk to anyone who's ever stepped foot on, any main stage and has won, you never hear them talk about their nerves. You never hear that. Instead, what you hear is just, oh, well, I got up there and I just played my game, right? Like, even Ace said that last night on Go Beyond's First Strike. He said, when I got up there, I was so proud of myself that I wasn't nervous. Legit said the exact same thing. If you're not comfortable when you're up there, you've already lost. And that's big. That is a very, very important life lesson for you guys. And that's a nice penis there. Looks good. It's a good penis. The sprays out well. I'm proud of you. And so I don't know if Richie Heinz is going to be at home in his own skin. I'm not seeing that. I just don't. When I saw him at PAX, he was he wasn't the same Richie Heinz that I know. I don't know what he has to do, but he's really got to figure it out. I think if Richie Heinz can't get his head on straight, I think this team will still place top 4. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to. If this team works all together, right, like everything goes according to plan here, I truly believe that they have a shot at top 2. Okay? Wow, dude, my screensaver in real life. I really do. I think it's possible. But it's going to be weird to see them win an event. It's going to take a bit. It's going to take me watching their scrims, and we'll go back. I'll come back to this episode and redo everything after, once everyone starts scrimming and everything like that. And I'll be able to say, hey, listen, this is what's going to happen. I get it. I understand everything that's about to happen now. I can see this happening. But as it stands now, I think top 4 will be their home. If they get 5th, 6th, I won't be too shocked depending on when I talk to Richie how he's going to be doing. But if everything goes according to plan, I think it's going to be fine. It's going to be good for Enable. The best thing about this team for Enable is it's actually going to force him to be fast. Okay? There's a lot of teams out there where Enable, status quo has just been predominantly slow. They've always been slow. It's my last sip of water because it took me 4 takes to fucking get this episode going. He's always been so slow. And so now he's going to be forced in a situation where he's actually going to be fast. Like, this is going to be very, very interesting. He doesn't miss, man. Like, Enable can shoot. This whole team can shoot. And that's going to be nice for him. It's going to be real nice for him to have that kind of going on his back. So we may see a complete Enable unleashed. So my thoughts on Dynasty, I'm going to put them around top 4. I'll put them right now as it stands. I put them in the top 4. I think, like I said, my X factor is 100% Richie Heinz. I think the other 3 are going to kick ass together. I really do. It's just going to be where the hell is Heinz's mind. So now moving forward here. So this is the part I wanted to talk about at the beginning. And if you've been here since the start, you know that, I've done it twice. So moving forward with Gandhi's thoughts, if you guys just started watching, or you've been around since the beginning, or you started in the middle and you've just kind of watched, it doesn't matter to me. I love you all the same. Okay? But starting up here, I have to say that Thoughts has taken a much different turn. When I first started off doing the show, I had no intentions of it being a live show. I really didn't. I never wanted it to be that. I just wanted it to be a YouTube show. But the problem was, as soon as I got on here, I couldn't shut up. I see you guys talking in there, and everyone has questions, and I'm trying to respond to everyone, and everyone makes a good point in the chat, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And so, I end up talking for 30, 45 minutes, and that's not where you want to be at home with YouTube. YouTube videos, you got to be under 15 minutes, really, and even 15 minutes are pushing it, depending on your content, so I get it. So it's going to be changed. So in the past, you've seen me kind of cover it. There's times where I'll do like 2 or 3 topics, right? And then I'll cut to the show. Or there's times where I just do a full episode on like an interview, okay? And then it's done. Well, that's not going to be the case anymore. What's going to be happening now is Thoughts is going to turn into a 2-part show. At the beginning, I'm going to be doing, the first part's going to be basically the traditional stuff, like what I'm doing right now. If I think I'm going to talk for a long time, it's only going to be 1 topic. But if it's going to be short topics, I'm going to do 2 topics. And then I'm going to go to a quick commercial break. I'll throw up like a screen in the middle that's like, hold on, we'll be back in a second, right? And it's just like a guy holding a finger up. And so then when I come back, I'm going to be doing an interview, okay? And so I think I'm going to kick this off hopefully tomorrow. I think I'll be able to start this off on tomorrow, but I'm not sure. I know Formal wants to do an interview with me, so I was like, well, father and son, new dynamic, I'm with it. So what's going to be happening is I'm going to be doing the 2 parts, and then we'll be going quick commercial break and then an interview. Now, these interviews are going to be different than everything you guys have seen kind of in the past. I talked about it before, but, casters and personalities play favorites. We do. There's reasons for that. The first reason why is I don't want to invite someone on the show who just sucks, right? Not sucks as like a player, but like it's just gonna give me fucking 2-word answers where I'm like, hey man, so tell me a little bit about this team change, and you're just like, oh well, I think it's good. I'm really excited. I don't. That's all. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here, right? Like, it's not fun. So I'm gonna try to not play favorites. I'm gonna try to not play favorites, and the reasoning behind this is because Halo is at such it's at such a low level in regards of publicity, right? Like, we don't take advantage of YouTube. I mean, there's Go Beyond has their YouTube firing up. We have Saucy, we have Ninja, and we have like myself. And there's a lot of other people who are starting up their content. Formal's doing vlogs. You have the Ambush Halo. Mickwin actually posted a video today, which I couldn't believe. And then Snakebite. Snakebite's doing the exact same thing. But Snakebite's actually doing something pretty cool if you guys want to take a look at that. And what Snakebite's doing is he's actually going into a game live, and then he's just talking about like team changes and stuff as he's playing, which I think is pretty fucking cool. Anyways. So really what I want to accomplish here with this is I want to get to the point where everyone is able to come out of their shell. And the best way you can kind of capture your personality is if you get on camera with someone who you're familiar with. I mean, with Heinz, for example, like Heinz loved doing content with me just because, he was so comfortable with like batting questions off of me, or responding to my questions rather, right? Because we have that chemistry. So I want to bring anyone and everyone on. Like, perfect example is APK. APK is an amazing forger, right? He's been doing this remake of Countdown in Forge for Halo 4. He's been doing everything to scale. It's crazy. There's a YouTube series of it going on his channel. It's so sick. But like, I want to bring these people on so we can start growing Halo more and more. And we got to just... So what I need here is although like I'm emerged, right? Like in this culture, right? Of this community, I don't know everyone. Right? I really don't. I don't have it. I don't have everyone there. I don't know everyone. So I need you guys to actually bring it in. I need you guys to let me know, like, hey, bring this guy on. Okay? And I'm not going to know, I have to know something about him, obviously. I don't want to be like, hey, what the fuck's your name again? You know what I mean? So obviously I have to do my research, but you guys have to let me know. So I'm shooting for 4 thoughts a week. So, well, bare minimum 3 thoughts a week, but I need you guys to tell me who you want. Thoughts from here on out will always be at 7 p.m. Eastern. There's no more like random fucking times. I'm gonna try to get on a schedule here for you guys. And you know what, man? I get the whole like the penis thing. I think it's funny personally, but like, is that the only one you guys got? Like, where's the awesome penis, right? Like, that one's okay, but like everyone does it. Like you're just conforming. Like there's no interesting. It's not like an interesting penis. Like everyone's already seen that one. Like, start being somewhat creative. You know what I mean? Like that's all I'm saying. Like you can do a lot. You know what I mean? But it's like it's the same one. Like you're not even creative. Like I appreciate